All right, welcome to episode 21 of Retrotopia, and we have a special episode because this is the first time we've actually gotten a guest, and you may remember him from the introduction to South Park. It is Captain Alcatraz himself, Alan Ptaszek. Did I get that right?
That was brilliant. Well done.
Fantastic.
All right. Yeah, and this week we're going to be talking Sonic the Hedgehog. And Al, what are you playing this week?
Me? Well, I have been playing Adventures of Alundra on PS1.
That's a great game.
Yeah, I have no idea how I missed it first time round, but it was my wife who actually turned me onto it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of those games I rented back when I was a kid, but it was never one I actually owned. I just remember it being kind of Zelda-esque, like, if I'm thinking of the right one.
Yeah, it's very Zelda-esque, but it's sort of very puzzling as well. It's quite a head-scratcher.
Yeah, well, after playing Lufia 2 there, I think I could use another game like that.
Oh, well, I heartily recommend it.
Well, then it's on my list.
There you go. So, and
That's fun to say.
It is fun to say. Alundra. Alundra.
Oh.
There you go. I've been dabbling with Metal Gear Solid 5 as well, just in and out. And
I kind of fell off after 4. Never picked up 5.
It's good. It's very different. It's very strange playing an open world, sort of quote unquote open world Metal Gear game.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say it's the best in the series, but I'm highly suspect of that.
Gameplay wise, I'd say yeah, but I haven't played enough to know sort of story. But it's Kojima, so it's bound to be fucking mental.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never heard of anyone dabbling in a Metal Gear game.
Well, he kind of got ousted halfway through that game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think sort of it, as I understand it, it doesn't quite end the way I think it has an ending, but not the one that he wanted.
Yeah, that long, convoluted, politically ambiguous story.
Yeah, I mean, it probably just ends, whereas he, want the 4-hour extended edition cutscene at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Anything else you got on the go?
Just Donkey Kong King of Swing on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, yeah, you posted that one in the Discord there. That looks, I've never heard of that game.
It's super fun. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, what's it about? Looks fun.
It's really hard to describe. I guess it's kind of a puzzle game, but you have the screen that you're in, and you have to traverse that screen by swinging across these peg walls and around a variety of different traps and enemies and what have you. It's hard to explain, but it's loads of fun.
Okay, Sam, what do you got going on?
Oh, same as last time, except yesterday I got a couple of new games to mention. I was playing a little Mario Party with some members of the Remember the Game community. That's been pretty fun. So we've been doing that for the last few weeks. I'm terrible at Mario Party. Just the mini games. Board strategy is one thing, but mini games, forget it. And then I started playing. We were talking about this a little bit before, but I started the Unicorn Overlord demo that's going to be coming out in March for pretty much everything. So far, so good. It's a pretty cool strategy game, really well animated and voice acted and everything. So I'm looking forward to playing the full game when that comes out.
Oh, it's
How about
good.
you?
Me, I just got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission left to finish off before the 29th.
Yep.
For people's awareness, we recorded this on the 27th, the day after we recorded the Final Fantasy III episode. So we don't really have a lot going on. That's why we're going to be very Alan-centric when it comes to what's being played.
Hey, you know what? I forgot. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the games being played, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you had posted some pictures of that in the Discord too. Alan played it with the Mega Drive and the old school CRT TV. So that's
that's the way to play it,
man.
That is absolutely the best way.
Yeah,
I played it on my Switch like a ding dong.
Yeah, dork.
How does it run on the Switch? I'm sure we'll get around to it, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get around to how Sonic actually quote unquote runs in this game.
Ooh,
foreshadowing.
Fired already.
But if you want to get in on the foreshadowing and the fighting, you can find our socials over at linktree/Retrotopia. That's linktr.ee/Retrotopia.
That's hard to say. I think you almost said
I know.
linktree.ee.
I might have. Linktree.
Yeah, and speaking of hearing from our listeners, we've been taking comments from our listeners on Discord. So we've got a couple here. Brian, do you want to start us out?
Yeah, we got the first one from McGee, who I actually saw last weekend, a very good fellow over here in the great country of Canada. And he says, I was wondering how Retro Alcatraz, which is your name in our Discord, or Captain Alcatraz elsewhere, handles being around such greatness while recording this episode. You know, himself. I think that one's aimed at you, Al.
Yeah, it kind of feels like one of those thirst tweets that you see the videos of. How do I? Well, it certainly helps to have a toddler in the mix because
Yeah, especially when dealing with us.
no, it's just nothing makes you realize just that you're not as fucking smart as you think you are than having a toddler. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
it keeps you humble.
Yeah, definitely find new ways to get into trouble when you have a toddler.
Absolutely. And in a definitive ranking of the family members of this household, I think on average I usually rank somewhere below the house cat. So that definitely helps to sort of keep my head at a reasonable size.
Well, that's
yeah.
good.
As for being around greatness, well, like you said, I'm in the Discord, so I'm used to being around greatness.
There you go.
Just like yourself, McGee. Great man.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Great answer from a great man to another great man from a great Discord. And here comes a question from, well, Wildcard.
Wild card. Can Alcatraz tone down his sultry tones just a bit on this episode so I'm not walking around at full mast for the next hour or so?
So if anybody, well, obviously this is kind of an inside joke, so I'll just kind of explain something right here. We posted a couple of voice clips, and Alan there posted a couple of his voice clips, and he has a very good reading voice, and he's done some Dracula reads.
Yeah.
And they are just fantastic to the point where, you know, you have to have a fan on you because you're sweating so much just listening to this sex.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
gorgeous, man. I could.
Thank you. Very, very nicely put.
I'd listen to you read the phone book.
Well,
Awesome.
yeah, we were talking just beforehand about a 6-hour podcast, so I've got a phone book here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sonic has canceled everyone.
Arrington.
To answer our friend Wildcard here, I think it's bold of you to assume that it's just going to be for an hour or so.
Yeah.
You are going to be pitching a tent for about the next 12 hours.
Oof.
If your podcast boner lasts for more hours, go see a doctor.
I was just going to say.
Maybe if you have to, though, don't walk past any parks or schools.
I think he can't do that to begin with. So. And Wildcard will be on our next guest episode, taking on Super Mario Kart, so he can rebuttal then.
Ooh.
All right, so that's all the questions we have today. Sam, do you want to introduce our special guest's interlude?
Yeah, before we start the discussion, we have a special interlude by Alan himself as he gives us the gentleman's introduction to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to expound upon the rather refined and, dare I say, proper pursuit that is engaging in the digital escapades of Sonic the Hedgehog. In this seemingly frivolous pastime, one discovers a confluence of virtues that elevates it beyond mere amusement. First and foremost, let us consider the extraordinary nimbleness displayed by the titular hedgehog, Sonic. A creature of remarkable celerity, his movements demand a keen eye and deft hand, qualities indispensable for any discerning gentleman. The intricate mazes and cunning adversaries encountered in Sonic's world are not mere obstacles, but rather intellectual challenges requiring strategic acumen and quick reflexes to navigate with finesse. Yet the merit of Sonic extends beyond the confines of manual dexterity. His unwavering commitment to thwarting villainous schemes and liberating woodland compatriots serves as an exemplary model of virtuous conduct. It instills in the impressionable minds of our youth a sense of duty, determination, and the undying pursuit of justice. Furthermore, let us not overlook the auditory delights accompanying our sonic soirees. The chiptune melodies that grace these digital landscapes add a layer of sophistication to the entire experience, enriching it with aural pleasures that resonate in the chambers of refined sensibilities. In conclusion, my dear associates, partaking in the exploits of Sonic the Hedgehog is not to be dismissed as a mere dalliance. It is a sophisticated undertaking, a pursuit that demands the amalgamation of wit, agility, and an appreciation for virtuous endeavors. As we embark on another session of Sonic, let our endeavors be not just a diversion, but a celebration of the refined inclinations that make us true British gentlemen. And remember, my friends, to always go fast.
Literal chills. Because I swear we just listened to it right now and didn't just pause for a few seconds.
No. 2 or 3 times, Brian, you've got to chill.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually getting kind of cold in here because I opened up the window and now the temperature's dropping because the sun went behind the trees. So instead of being smart and getting up to close the window, I'm going to power through it.
Nice. Nice.
All right, we have some letters in our Discord. We got 4 of them there, so let's see.
4
I'll
divided
start
by 3. No.
Yeah, 4 divided by 3, carry the 1.
Yeah.
I'll start, and then we'll just rotate through. Yeah, okay,
All right.
Sounds great. Yeah, this is not a democracy anymore.
No.
This is a Captain Anocracy or Brianocracy. All right, so anyways, first comment about Sonic the Hedgehog itself, because we're now into the game chat, I guess I should mention that, is from our friend Unbuckled Kate from the Unbuckled Comics. He says, yes! Is this the best Sonic? Well, 3 exclamation marks. No, probably the worst on the Genesis, but it's still fun, and the tracks still slap hard. He put 3 exclamation marks, so I had to pronounce it.
It was capitalized too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He went hard.
I think I need to change my underwear.
Yes. All right.
You like long, loud intros, you got to listen to the Retro Hangover with our next commenter.
Here we go. I will take this one from Zodiac. Sonic the Hedgehog is better than Sonic 2, and Labyrinth Zone is good, actually. Sorry, so many people suck at it. Really, though, this was the game, like so many others, that got me wanting a Sega Genesis. The graphics are gorgeous and hold up even today, and the music is sublime, especially Starlight Zone. I remember using the level select cheat just to go to that level when I was a kid, just to hear the music by Dreams Come True. The gameplay is spot on too, even if you can't go fast all the time like people always bitch about. This was the perfect antithesis for Mario, and it was exactly what the market needed to establish a solid competitor.
Sam,
I don't know. I can't argue with anything you said there. It's just very well said.
I forgot about the level select cheat. I think I knew what it was.
Down, left, right, A, start.
Yes, yeah, and I think I've used it before when I was a kid.
That's my Konami code.
Yeah.
Sam, I feel like that was a personal shot at you, though.
Oh, probably.
No, the Labyrinth Zone.
Oh, yeah. Zodiac tends to have opinions that are counter to whatever I've been complaining about. Labyrinth Zone is good. I hate Labyrinth Zone.
Well, you know what? You two can fight it out.
Yes, we will. We will.
All right, do you want to take the next one, Alan?
Yeah, sure. Speaking of fighting, it's a Raging Demon.
Yeah, from the Command List podcast.
He's a big Sega guy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So he says Sonic the Hedgehog is Mega Drive greatness. Although I do not consider the original better than 2. I mean, that's just crazy talk. Who would even think that? It is, however, an amazing platforming experience, better than any Mario game of the time. The music is better, it looks better, the boss fights are better. This tight platforming argument from Mario people is exhausting. A game is about the entire experience, not one aspect. However, I digress. Sonic is such a massive part of my gaming childhood, and I love this game. The Labyrinth Zone is a good level, as already mentioned by Chris. People who bitch and moan about water levels need to get their lives together. If you spend too much time underwater, you will fucking die. Just get over it and get good. This was truly the first time that Sega grabbed Nintendo by the shirt and punched them in the face and took their lunch money, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it was definitely. I was there for the console wars of the 90s or late 80s, early 90s, and this really was when Sega kind of put their boot on the head of Nintendo.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, they didn't have a foot in that boot, so they ended up losing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they had the boot on the throat or whatever, but they forgot to put the boot on.
Yeah, exactly. Just threw it at them.
Just held it. Yeah, throw it. Who throws a shoe?
All right, our final question comes from our newest and our actual first original Discord member, Wolfbane. And by original, I mean everybody in our Discord was previously known from another Discord, and they kind of joined us in our beginning of our journey. But Wolfbane joined without any prompting or money exchanging hands. So they say I was never good at or any good at. Let me start again. I was never any good at any Sonic game. I can only do the first 2 zones, but I always had fun nonetheless. Great music in those games and great graphics too. Pretty much sums up my opinion of the entire game right there. I never made it past zone 2 because, well, I figured you two guys were big Sega guys, so you'll probably carry the conversation.
Well, I mean, look, as long as Wolfbane had fun, then...
And that's what matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of video game people do is they like, I just had fun. I'm not angry at all as they, take the controller out of the TV. All right, thanks everybody for those questions. We're going to move into the game chat proper. And as always, Sam and I always like to ask the question, and we're going to ask it to Alan, who suggested the game. Why did we choose this game?
Well, as a big fan of this fantastic podcast, I couldn't help but notice that it seemed like the console wars were back, and that does not happen without me.
There you go.
And I felt that my good friend Sam here needed a little backing. So, what better game to showcase what the Mega Drive is capable of than the original Sonic the Hedgehog?
Perhaps absolutely fair enough.
The most important game I myself have probably ever played.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Right up on that pedestal.
Oh, yeah.
Just stick it up there. Did Mario just get out from under the carpet, but Sonic needs another drink. Go get it. So with that, what's the history you have with the game? Like, what's your background with it? Did you play it as a kid there? Little Alan sitting in front of his TV with his TV license and...
Yeah, so the first console we ever had was the Master System. And I couldn't tell you why. I asked my dad just recently, and he said, the what system? No idea how the Master System was the first console we had. And I dabbled with a couple of games on it, but it was really when the Mega Drive came out, and I played Sonic. I think we had 2 games, Altered Beast and Sonic.
Ooh, Altered Beast.
I had both of those as well.
There you go. I think they were probably pack-in games. But
for sure they were, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sonic just blew me away. It became my entire personality throughout my childhood. It's just obsessed with the guy.
Oh, you must have been one of those fun people there, like always running around the house. I gotta go fast.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, Sonic was definitely had cool factor that Mario did not have.
Well, Sonic had the cartoons. Like I know Mario had the cartoons at the time, but let's be honest, Sonic has really survived based on its outside of video game media.
Yeah, the comics, the cartoons, the
movies.
really weird fan fiction.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Jeez, I didn't even think about that. Way to bring
Yeah.
that into the conversation.
yeah, happy
This
to
is-
help.
Yeah.
This is just Pokemon all over again, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah.
We're not opening that can of worms.
No.
Ooh.
What about you, Sam? You're also a Saga kid, a little Saga nerd over there.
Yeah.
What's your history with the game?
Yeah, this was one of the first video games that I owned as a kid. We had an NES, but like Alan said, I didn't really mess around with it too much. I was pretty young, so I would consider the Sega Genesis, as we call it over here, my first console. And one of the pack-in games with it was Sonic the Hedgehog, and I actually had the copy that. At least in North America, there were copies that were stamped right on the cartridge. It said "not for resale." Do you guys remember that, or have you ever seen that one?
Well, I've seen
No.
them before in used video game stores.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
being
It's like,
resold.
it's like, of course we're gonna resell it, but like, I think what they meant was like a store,
store,
can't
yeah.
pull it out and like sell it as new. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I've seen them on other games, but never for Sonic.
yeah, and I think it was on the actual cartridge itself. It was really ugly looking. It was like this big white banner that said "not for resale," like in red block letters. Like really messed with the artwork on the cover. But yeah, I played
Of
this
course, that
game
makes
quite
it a
bit.
collector's edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what they're worth these days.
Well, I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, so I don't really want to look it up. Yeah, it's a good game. I overshadowed a little bit by Sonic 2 because I also had that game and played it much more because you could do the spin dash, and that
Yeah.
introduction of the spin dash really opened up Sonic to a whole new level of speed, I would say. But it's still a good game.
Yeah,
Agreed.
my history with it is I remember those kiosks that used to be in like department stores by the video game section there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they had a Sega one there, and right beside the Super Nintendo, and you got to play both games. And of course, one was flashier than the other, so I went to Sega that because my brother wouldn't let me play the better Super Nintendo. So pause for effect. And so, anyways, that's pretty much my entire introduction to Sonic the Hedgehog, besides the few times I've dabbled in it when I've seen it on collections or like on the Switch online or whatever. So I'm not a big Sonic guy, so that's why I'm going to be sitting mostly back and watching you two fight it out, throwing the occasional wrench into the gears.
Yeah.
I think me and Sam are pretty much on the same page here.
I don't think we're going to be fighting too much.
Oh, you will when I'm done with you.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love those commercials. God, that was a great time for advertising too.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh fuck! I mean, just goddamn. I almost wanted a Sega Genesis because they were on point with their advertisements, and same with PlayStation, like the generation after.
Yeah.
I remember.
And those weren't there like the Game Boy Color had like the Live Out Loud commercials that were crazy
Oh
too.
yeah. I mean that was a nice part about Nintendo is like the Super Nintendo felt like a side project because they were making so much money off of the Game Boy.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
They could afford to fuck up.
Yeah.
I love the Game Boy.
And then they did.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the story and the plot, I wrote down some points here. So feel free to fill in the blanks if I have any here. But the game takes place on South Island, which is drifting across the sea because of the Chaos Emeralds. Now, Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman in Japan, he wants these Chaos Emeralds for himself as they would provide him an unlimited supply of pure energy.
Yeah,
So
two things
Go on.
here. I had no idea that it was called South Island. No idea.
Really?
And I didn't know that Robotnik had a first name. And I'm kind of like I almost would rather not know that.
Well, that comes
Ivo,
right off
like-
the wiki for Sonic the Hedgehog. So if it's
What is-
wrong, blame the wiki.
Like what
No,
is
no,
Ivo Robotnik? Like
it's right.
There we
It's
go.
right.
you know in Star Wars, like Palpatine's first name is like Sheev or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Like why? Who cares? Like just he doesn't need a first name.
Fuck. I don't know what I just did, but I set my Google off and it started explaining what Sonic the Hedgehog was.
Well, that's what we're doing, surely.
Well, I
Yeah.
know, and it was getting like confusing because I have a Australian voice set for my my Google when it responds to me, and I have a British voice on the other side, and I just kind of felt like there was a conflict going on.
Yeah, that could be pretty confusing. So I'm glad
can be.
I'm glad we didn't pick that up. That only
Well,
confused
it's
you.
probably on the recording, but
Is it really?
but it'll stay there. It'll be like your dog's jingling around.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
part of
I
the
did take their
part of the
collars off,
podcast.
so there's not going to be much jiggling around or jingling. Sorry,
Oh, come
got
on, they're
jiggles on the
canon
brain.
now. You have to leave the collars on.
Yeah, I've got them right here.
There you go. You put it on
Sam?
you.
I was going to say, Sam, are you wearing the collars?
Oh yeah,
he's
I'm wearing
the
I'm
collars.
wearing the collars, and I'm actually chained to my desk.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
You
derailed.
got,
they had to give Robotnik a first name because you've got to humanize the maniac who's stuffing small furry animals into robots.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
That sounds dirtier than it should. Anyways, okay, carrying on with the story plot because we're way off track. Dr. Robotnik establishes a mechanical base on the island and unleashes his army to kidnap the animals. And as Alan said, the animals are stuffed inside of his badnik robot soldiers as living batteries. Sonic then shows up with his moral sense of justice beaming and sets out to get the Chaos Emeralds and defeat Dr. Robotnik, all the while saving the cute animals of the island. Did I miss anything on that?
No. But I was playing it this weekend, and my oldest daughter was like, "Why are there little animals in the robots?" I was like, "Just because that's what he does. It's part of the story." She's like, "Well, that's dumb." Like, I'm not going to argue with you, but yeah, I mean, that's just what it is.
Oh, when I was playing the game there, and the animals kept popping out, it took me a minute to like realize that you weren't killing the robots, and these animals were running away for Dr. Robotnik. Because I thought the animals were the bad guys.
Huh. Oh yeah, like you got me. I'm running away.
Boo.
I have to wonder though. It's just like there has to be a better battery for a robot. Like,
well, the Matrix taught us that nothing makes a better battery than a human.
Well, maybe batteries.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
like an actual battery. Like,
I don't know like what sort of battery utopia you have over there in Britain, but they cost money here.
Well, I mean, he's created an entire base on the island. I mean, is that powered by animals as well?
Probably. Got like a plug up a raccoon's ass.
I was going to say like 4,000 hamsters on a running wheel. Okay, you do you.
Listen, I don't know where animal power comes from. I just have to take guesses like everyone else.
Apparently from raccoons.
Well, speaking of powerful animals, how about Sonic the Hedgehog? What's your opinion on the blue running? I almost said blue bomber, but the blue running guy.
He's the blue blur. The blue blur. That's
is that what he's called?
Blue blur.
Yeah,
I think right.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, that works for me. Except for in this game, he doesn't actually go fast, and that was actually one of my biggest points about the game. Was I was expecting to start the level and you just like take off and you're dodging spikes and everything's blurry, but 2-3 steps into it, you're stopped.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just
gonna say, with all the advertisements in the 90s about talking about how fast Sonic goes with blast processing and all that crap, I mean, I was severely disappointed.
I mean, once you build up speed, then
if you can build up speed. If you suck at the game, you might as well just hit every spike on the way through. Well, always catching one ring just to make sure you stay alive.
Get good.
Yeah. Don't bring Rangy Demon into this. All right, we just lost the recording there for a second, but we were talking about Sonic, and I believe, I don't know which one of you was going on because I didn't remember that part. But so we're talking about Sonic. My point was basically that I didn't find him go for him to go that fast during the game, and I found a lot of roadblocks that slowed him down, and I believe that's what we were on right at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some pretty difficult mechanics in this game. I think there's no spin dash, which is introduced in Sonic 2. Although I wanted to mention for folks that want to play this game with a little bit of quality of life improvement, the Sonic Origins collection is really good. And in Sonic 1, you can spin dash, and you can also play as any of the other playable characters that have since entered the Sonic universe, like Knuckles or Tails or Amy Rose. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun. I actually considered playing that version. I was like, nah, we'll stick with the original as best.
Yeah, I started to play the Sega Ages version, and that had the spin dash in it as well. And I was just like,
really?
I was like, I don't know. I kind of, not sure about that.
Bit of revisionist history there. We didn't have the spin dash until whenever Sonic 2 came out.
Back in my day, we never had the spin dash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these kids today are goddamn spoiled.
Although there is not a spin dash, there is a spin attack kind of that's a little bit tricky to pull off. You have to run or walk forward and then pull back at a diagonal, which is pretty easy to do on a Sega controller because it had that kind of circular D-pad with the with like the 45-degree angles between the 90-degree directionals.
Mhm.
But on a Switch controller with just a, like a plus shaped D-pad, unless you want to use the joystick like a crazy person, it can be kind of hard to get the diagonal right and pull that off. But it's like a little spin move. It's not a spin dash, but it's like just a spin. But it can be useful against some of the enemies that you can only attack in a very specific spot. There are some spiked enemies that you can't jump on.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
Really?
neither
Yeah.
do
I've been
I.
playing this game for 35
Do you ever
odd
notice
years.
how he just kind of spins sometimes?
No.
Oh,
No.
well,
No, you're
If
just
you-
talking straight out your keister.
okay. Well, if you walk forward and then kind of pull back in the reverse direction diagonally, Sonic will spin.
Right.
And that's how I got out of. There's a spot in the game actually in the marble zone you can get soft locked if you don't know how to get out of it, and that spin move helps because you can break the bricks that are on the floor where there's no room to jump. So you're in like a narrow tunnel and you do that little spin move.
Oh, 35 years, and I think Alan learned something new.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's like
Are you
not
sure you're
easy
not
to
just
pull off though.
Are you sure you're not just pressing down? And
I
that's
might be
why it's
pressing.
difficult.
I might be pressing down. I
It
thought
gets
you had to kind of pull
confusing when
back.
you have all that round directional button on the Sega controller.
Yeah, I don't know if it's straight down or if it's like kind of a down and back diagonal thing, but yeah, you can kind of do a little bit of a spin.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then you learn something new every day.
Yeah,
I do.
There you go.
All right.
It's not easy to do, and it's not a good mechanic.
Of course, Alan, do you have anything else to talk about Sonic? Anything you want to bring up about this hero of the story?
Well, I mean, his main unique selling point is that, I mean, he's just cool, isn't he?
Well, yeah.
He's just...
I will not take that away from Sonic the Hedgehog. He was the coolest of the mascots.
Absolutely. And it like effectively kicked off not just the console wars, but the mascot wars.
Yeah.
Just like the first time that there was ever any kind of competition for Mario.
Yeah, that's very much true, and Mario kind of won that one because more kids recognize Mario than Mickey Mouse today.
Yeah, that's fair.
True.
Yeah, and it was a good time. Like the cartoon really helped Sonic because it really was the quote unquote cool cartoon where Mario was like the he's a Italian plumber from New York. I mean, what's cool about that? Kids aren't running upstairs grabbing a plunger and unclogging the toilet because of Mario, but they're running down the street like little shitheads with Sonic.
Do you think the Mario concept was like an elaborate ruse to get kids to do bathroom chores?
Oh yeah, by big trade industry.
We need plumbers.
Yeah.
Let's make that look really cool.
Mommy, I found a
mushroom.
turtle. That's not a turtle. That's just a turd.
Yeah, it's a turtle
Ew.
for sure.
All right, so moving on to the antagonists are Ivo Robotnik, PhD, and Evilology. He's the boss of every level, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so he just different versions of him, his big round body sitting in his little ship there, and you just have to continuously jump and hit the ship, is my understanding of how to beat him.
That's right.
Yeah, I did. I always appreciated that, like his little flying egg contraption thing, his little flying pod, always has some sort of attachment or variation that matches the level and has a different, like, unique challenge with it. So it's like the same thing, but not really, because he's got some sort of doohickey on it.
They definitely got a lot of mileage out of that one vessel.
Yeah.
For sure.
Goes in for a regular tune-ups, keeps it flying, right? Especially after getting beaten down by a hedgehog. A hedgehog with a pigmentation problem.
Because he's blue.
Because he's blue. But Any minor enemies in this game that kind of jumped out at you? Like anyone that just like the fish that jump up and kill me every time I play through the Green Hill Zone?
The fish. The fish
Yeah.
don't bother me too much, actually.
Well, because the fish are always when I finally get ahead of steam there and I'm running and I hit the bridge and I know the fish are coming, so I'll jump and for some reason I always land and die or get like the rings knocked out of me.
Yeah.
So I hate them.
Just jump over the bridge.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? Simple solutions for simple people, but
and I am a simple person.
I'm a complex individual and I like to fuck up.
Yeah, that's fair. I love the badniks in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I like I think it's the Moto Bug, which is the little red guy with the wheel underneath him. Literally first level, and he's just iconic. I love him.
Yeah, the little ladybug thing.
That's right. Yeah.
There were some that were definitely irritating. You'd get talking about like the spring yard zone, and you've got those kind of elevator type boxes that you have to navigate your way through, and then one of those bees will come through and just like put a little like zapper bullet like right where you can avoid it.
I feel like those things like respawn endlessly as well.
Yeah, I think those bees kind of do.
It just kind of felt like it every time I wanted to go down one of those lifts.
Yeah, like
it was always there.
Are you ascending or descending in a confined space? Okay, we're gonna send some of these little bees through here to like shoot weird lasers out of their ass.
Yeah,
bee lasers. I guess. Those are bunny rabbit powered lasers.
Yeah, they are.
They hit you full of cuteness,
and you die.
So not a lot of enemies, like big enemy discussion to have here, because you go Robotnik and every time you fight him it's just kind of a different iteration of him. Like the first time it's just attacking the vehicle, the second time I think he was swinging a big spike. What are some of the other versions? Because like I said, I only got about 2 levels in before I basically just couldn't beat the game anymore.
So the first one, he's got the wrecking ball.
Yeah.
The second one, I think he's spitting fire.
Yeah, it's like it's a flamethrower.
And you have to jump between the 2 platforms.
Yep.
And
then the third one.
Yep.
It's the one with the spike. You're like and you have to strategize because like if you start in the middle, you can't. You really have to like start from left to right.
You have to put him down fast because that is probably my most anxious.
Yes.
Boss in the entire game.
Yeah, and it's just such a stupid little like he's just got like a little poker on the bottom and he just comes and picks up a block and
then you have less blocks to stand on. And any boss where they start removing the floor, that's tense.
Right. I think it's definitely possible for you to miss him and run out of floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I mean, it's used like a unofficial timer to beat the boss. You have so long to do it before you're screwed.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Any more iterations you can think of?
No, I think the Starlight Zone one was really fun. That was he was dropping little spike balls, and you had to use the like seesaw levers to like either launch yourself or launch the balls up at him.
Yeah,
that was a cool one. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, that's so much fun. It's easy, but it's just loads of fun.
Well, yeah, it's neat because like you can either hit him by launching Sonic himself, or if one of those little red bombs that he's dropping happens to hit his ship, it hurts him too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always good.
Would you not just stop throwing the bombs?
No. He's a doctor with a PhD in evolology.
Ivo, it's not working.
No, not whether or not to drop bombs. You drop more bombs.
Well, that didn't work. I guess I'll try it again 8 more times.
That sounds like a United States military solution to a problem.
Yeah, that didn't work. Let's do it again.
If they're hiding in caves and the bombs aren't penetrating, if we use enough bombs, they'll eventually penetrate.
Yeah.
Logic.
Bomb until there's no caves anymore either.
Exactly. Okay, you guys have been covering some of the levels, so I'm going to switch gears here and talk about the. You said there's 6 zones, so you got the Green Hill Zone, the Marble Zone, the Spring Yard Zone, the Labyrinth Zone, the Starlight Zone, and the Scrap Brain Zone, and then those Chaos Emeralds are their own little levels on their own, right? Like,
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
Bonus
So do you
levels
guys
and
want
bonus.
to bring up anything about any particular zone? Like like any of your favorites or anything that kind of stood out to you in this game?
Well, I think one of the criticisms, and I think it's a valid one, is the Green Hill Zone is kind of the quote unquote go fast level. It opens up. Some people have problems with running into fish over bridges and
Yeah,
other
those
shit like
people are
that.
jackasses.
But I think the Green Hill Zone is the most open in the game, and then you get to the Marble Zone and it just like kind of grinds to a screeching halt, and you have to kind of slowly pick your way across platforms. So that can be difficult, but um, that would be like the first criticism I have of the game. I don't know about you, Alan. I don't think you have that same criticism. I think you just like the game.
No, I love the game, but that is a valid criticism. But there's nothing wrong with the Marble Zone, but I think dropping it in as the second level is an odd choice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having levels that are slightly slower, but
Yeah,
establish your main game mechanic first before you then start changing the formula. I mean,
right.
anything following Green Hill Zone is going to have a difficult time because that level is iconic.
Yes.
I mean, there is a reason that just about any Sonic game I can think of starts off with a very lush, a very green, a very open, go fast level because they got it
Yep.
right first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure. Every single one. It's like,
and for the 1,000 times I played it, I absolutely love the Green Hill Zone. It was probably the best looking one I was actually able to see.
It's gorgeous. I mean, bright, colorful. You've got the parallax scrolling. You've got great music. You
yeah,
can, like I say, most people can build up quite a bit of speed and really get going over the loops and the hoops and what have you. So
Yeah.
it's everything that a Sonic game should be. And I don't think that this game succeeds without that level right out of the gate.
Well,
yeah.
that's
The
the
only
level
other,
you needed to succeed out of the gate. Like I said, as a Nintendo kid, having Sonic as kind of on the other system, it was always presented as you go so fast
Mm.
all the time. And playing the game, my biggest criticism is I had this expectation of speed built up, and I found myself being kind of slowed down almost at every stop. Unless, of course, the, I guess, main path to go through as fast as you can. I'm not sure. But for me, I kept running into walls and spikes and stuff like that, which slowed me down.
yeah, they would. There were kind of like ass pull moments where it's like, oh, you got a little straightaway here, but it's going to end in a spike bed or something crazy. Like there's going to be
So
an enemy waiting for you at the end. Yeah,
definitely later on in the game. Yeah, that's
I
very
will,
true.
yeah, I will say one thing I appreciated is when you ran into the side of a spike, it didn't
hmm
kill you like,
yep,
every other friggin'
Yes.
game on this planet.
Yes.
There's
yeah. It's
nothing
not
like the
like,
side of a spike killing Mario, right?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I definitely had that criticism with like Chip and Dale in one of our recent episodes too, or like Mega Man, for example. Like you even get close to the side of something and it will just hurt you. Um, Sonic did not have that problem.
yeah. So we had a few comments about up top earlier in the episode about the labyrinth zone there. Do you
Mhm.
guys want to expand on that? Why is it so hated?
Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, it's the yeah, it's the slow. Well, I mean, it's the slowest level of them all because you're underwater and you've got that kind of slow moving underwater kind of physics, and it completely changes the whole feel of the game. I I don't mind because I know that there's going to be a lot of bubbles that you can breathe from, so you kind of have to again, well, it's another way that the game kind of slows itself down is it doesn't really give you a whole lot of time to be underwater, and you have to breathe in the big bubbles that are floating up in order to like replenish your breath and continue on. So uh, very challenging. I don't know about your thoughts, Alan.
I think it's not a bad level. I just think it's been done better since.
hmm
So Sonic 2, I think the Aquatic Ruin Zone, they really
Yes.
managed that balance between how much time you spend underwater and how much time you spend above ground. And if you're good, you can avoid most of the water in Sonic 2.
Yeah.
You do spend an awful lot of time underwater, and the thing is, it's nice to have that variation. I think every platform game needed that water section.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but I like the mechanics of running out of air. I mean, is there anything more stressful than that music when
Oh
you start to run
God,
out of
that is the
oxygen? I mean,
worst.
like I hear that in my dreams, but
And the sound of him drowning is just traumatizing too. It's like,
it's awful.
yeah,
Well, you
As
got to
you
get
see,
those kids into therapy somehow.
yeah, and you just
yeah,
see him die and like drown. It just have you ever also like realized that like you start hearing that music and you're right by the bubbles and you're
yeah.
just gonna stand there and wait for the big one and they never
Come
give you
on,
one?
come on, come on, come on, come
Yeah,
on,
it
come
just
on.
doesn't come up and you just
Yeah,
die. It's like, what the fuck?
I think that's where my anxiety started as a kid.
Yeah.
There you go. See, this is why I was a Super Nintendo kid, is because I don't have that anxiety. I just have ice level anger.
Oh, ice
Ice,
levels. Yeah.
ice level. Yeah, well, that's one thing. Sonic never had. Sonic One never had an ice level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic
That's
And
Three
probably
did.
for the best.
Sonic 3 did, and it was awesome. You could snowboard.
oh
That's
yeah.
I'm gonna shift gears here because I actually had a question for you, Sega nerds. Sonic 3, that was the one where you could, or was it Sonic and Knuckles where you could attach the cartridge on top?
Yeah, those two games
Those
came
two,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody here ever take Sonic the Hedgehog and stick it on that cartridge and throw Knuckles in the game?
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, does it?
Unfortunately. No, you could put Knuckles into Sonic 2 and you could put
Yeah.
Knuckles into Sonic 3, but they did not Sonic 1 was not backward compatible that way.
No.
Well, that's a big heap and pile of Hedgehog bullshit.
Well, if you think about it though, it's actually pretty amazing that they were actually able to go back and do it with 2.
Well, they probably future planned it, like built the game around having levels reachable by, Knuckles there, and then,
Yeah.
finally pulled the pin a few years later.
Yeah, the idea of Knuckles or the idea of a game that attaches to another game that way must have been floating around. And when did Sonic 2 come out? 1992.
I think so.
Yeah, and then Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles came out kind of simultaneously in 1994.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like that. I think that's incredible because it's like, not only do you get like I got Sonic and Knuckles for Christmas one year, and it was like not only did I basically get a brand new Sonic game, but I got a brand new way to play one of my old Sonic games. It was
Yeah.
pretty crazy, and Knuckles could find some cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think, honestly, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is probably my. I want to say my all-time favorite Sonic experience.
Yeah, it's great. It's up there for sure.
All right. Well, I
But we're
learned
not
something
talking
new.
about that one. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the quote unquote bad
Yeah,
one.
why did you guys even get on that topic? Jesus.
Well,
But I'm
we
gonna.
were steering Sam away from the Labyrinth Zone boss.
Oh,
Oh.
of course.
I can't say like, and as a kid, it would just kind of confuse me because it's like you see Robotnik in his little pod, and your natural inclination is to try to hit him, and you can hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically, though, he's traveling upwards, and the water is rising, which is anxiety inducing in itself. And then you have to kind of just keep pace with him to get up top, and then he just flies away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outrun the water. Try not to drown. Don't
So
get
it's
hit by
not so much of a
spikes.
boss fight as it is kind of don't get hit by the boss while you flee.
Yeah, it's just kind
Yeah.
of keeping track of him until you get to the top, and then I would have liked to have had that and then have a little fight at the end, but he just fucks off and that's it.
He wants no part of this. Yeah.
No, and it's funny because before you start ascending that kind of I don't know if you'd call it like a tunnel or like a I don't know, a well or whatever as you're going up, you can hit him at least once.
Yeah.
And if you catch up to him, you can hit him on the way up. Although I would advise not doing that because you could probably end up hitting a spike or something on the way back down.
Yeah. The bounce back is not worth it.
No, yeah, because at that point you're pretty much underwater.
Yeah.
That it is very frustrating though because there are a couple of different spots where there's spikes that pop out a little like a spear almost and you're jumping pretty slow, so it's hard to time the jumps to avoid those, and it's just not. I don't particularly enjoy that boss fight, if you can even call it that.
Did you get it off your chest, Sam?
I guess so. I'm feeling pretty calm right now, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I never liked that boss fight, and then, in fact, I don't think, for at least for the longest time, as a kid, I don't think I ever got past the labyrinth zone.
Neither
Wow.
did I. In fact, I didn't even get to the labyrinth zone.
Well, that was if I could beat the spring yard zone, because that boss is tough in spring yard zone.
Yeah.
But
All
if
right.
I could, it just not great.
Yeah, I'm
Not
gonna
great, Labyrinth Zone.
gonna end you here, Sam, because you probably will go on for hours and will ruin your night, and your dinner's gonna taste bitter.
Yeah.
But, I'm
Labyrinth
gonna
Zone.
bring up my favorite part of the game, and the one thing I will probably never admit again is that the graphics in this game are better than anything at the time I saw on the Super Nintendo. Like, it is
100%.
bright, it's
Yep.
lush, there's a lot more animations, the backgrounds seem a little more detailed. I don't know if it's because of Genesis or the Mega Drive is more powerful, or if it's just because the game had less memory used up by Sonic and they just had more available to make it look prettier. But it is very graphically beautiful.
It's that blast processing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is. That's the secret.
Yeah, and Nintendo didn't have that. They just had some sort of regular graphics.
Just plungers and
Basic
raccoons.
bitch graphics.
Yeah.
I always appreciated the color palette in Sega games. I always thought they were a little bit brighter, popped on the screen a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's again, and it's just right from the title screen. That's it. Just as you say, it just pops.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
instantly grabs your attention.
Yeah, it's very bright. Like you said earlier, the Green Hill Zone was absolutely necessary to make this game as good as it was, because it just it fills you with joy right away. Just the way the greens, the blues, and all that happen.
Yep.
It makes you feel like a warm summer day.
Yep.
yeah, it really does.
Yeah. The enemies are well detailed. The one thing I didn't like is some of the enemies sort of blended when you started going a little bit faster, but that might not be because of the Genesis. That might be because I was playing on the PS5 Sega Genesis collection with the CRT filter on.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
might have been getting some blur there.
I like those in modern collections. Like, you talk about the Sega Genesis collection, which is a good one. And then, I mean, there's so many ways to play this game. You could play it on Switch Online. There's a Sega Ages collection that's everywhere, but some of the collections have that CRT filter that you can throw over the top and make it look a little bit more retro. And I think
Oh
those are
yeah,
pretty fun.
the Nintendo Switch Online, all their games have a CRT filter option in them. I think it's actually one of the main options or settings. You have to set the CRT filter. The SNES Classic and the NES Classic I have CRT filters. The emulator I use has a CRT filter. It just changes the way these games look and it makes them feel more authentic.
Yeah, for sure.
That's nice. That's nice. I like that.
I appreciate that touch.
Because you said you played it right on a CRT TV, right, Alan?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you play with the CRT filter on?
Built in. Yeah, absolutely.
And you played it off of your original Mega Drive, or did you play like a PlayStation 5 version and just put it on a CRT TV?
No. I have a Mega Drive 2 or Genesis 2. Did you guys have a Genesis 2?
We did.
No.
Yeah,
Did
we
we?
did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, there was the original Genesis was like kind of wider and had that it was like an AV jack and a dial on the side. That's the one I had, and then there was the Genesis 2 was like just the square one.
Yeah, red buttons. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, so
yeah, I had a Genesis 1.
I typed in Genesis 2 into Google there, and I got a lot of scripture. So yeah, that was not a great choice.
What was God doing in creation in Genesis 2, Brian?
playing Sonic 1.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Genesis 2 was all about.
Yeah.
For the record, what do you prefer, Mega Drive or Genesis?
Oh, like the name of it. Gosh, I have to say Genesis because it's what I grew up with, but Mega Drive sounds pretty cool too.
Sounds
See,
like a sports car.
Mega Drive.
I think it might be treason for me to actually say this on the internet, but Genesis does sound cooler.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds cooler because it's the one you didn't grow up with. Like to me, I didn't know the Mega Drive was the Genesis until a few years ago.
Ah,
But I'm with Sam. Like the Mega Drive just sounds kind of cooler. Like you had the Master System and then the Mega Drive.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the Genesis doesn't quite make sense, because that implies that it was the first one, which obviously
Yes.
Yeah, I was
we
always
had the Master
confused.
System.
I was confused by Master System because it's like, is that really like what was that? Is just
Mm.
the Sega before the Sega or what? I don't even know if it was that widely distributed here in North America.
I think it was more popular over in Europe and
Yeah.
what have you.
Yeah, and the guy who went and named the Genesis moved on to name all the Xbox consoles in order.
Oh God.
Yeah. If you want confusing number system, there it is.
Yeah.
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 One XS 360 0. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for the next one. Nobody can even fathom what it's going to be called. But
It's just going to be implanted directly into your brain.
yeah, exactly. I wait for it. Bill Gates is going to inject. That's what the 5G was injected into you for.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're going to be streaming Game Pass now. All right. Speaking of Spotify, there, Sam. What about the music in this game?
Oh, music is excellent.
One of the best 16-bit soundtracks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, the Green Hill Zone is iconic. I always get the Labyrinth Zone stuck in my head because that's where I die the most. But Spring Yard Zone is good too.
That's funny because I get the Green Hill Zone in my head for the same reason as the Labyrinth.
Jesus.
I am not good at this game.
He's just bopping along for 30 seconds and it's like fucking fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan, what do you think of that Robotnik theme? I love that. Hearing that, even though it's the same boss theme every time, it's
epic.
Great. Yeah.
It's excellent. I mean, all the music for any Sonic game is always on point.
Yeah.
So the Robotnik theme is brilliant. My personal favorite has got to be Spring Yard Zone. That's the one that's been stuck in my head for days now.
Oh yeah.
And that is a bop.
Yeah, it is.
It's so catchy. And I think it goes back to who was it who said earlier? Was it Zodiac?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. He was saying he'd go forward to try and listen to the Starlight Zone music. Like it's great that every person has like a different track that they love that just gets them. So I think that's one of the main, as well as the graphics and the gameplay. It's just one of the main reasons that it did so well.
Yeah, music can enhance any game. Like even a bad game with good music is just a little bit better because of that music. If you can actually enjoy listening to the game, it takes away some of the, I guess, kind of the crappy designs.
Yeah, a crappy game with an annoying soundtrack is the worst.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you ever played 3D Battles of the World Runner?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that music was made by Nobuo Utsuma from Final Fantasy. And it's a very repetitive song that gets stuck into your brain. It's not a bad song. It's very repetitive. And by the time you turn it off, 6 months later, that song will still be running on repeat inside your head.
He's usually very, very good.
Oh, he's fantastic. And again, it's not a bad song. It's just because it's old. Like this game was out, I think, but right before Final Fantasy was out. So it's his original kind of work. And yeah, it's just repetitive. And that's something I noticed about this game is the music didn't feel repetitive.
No, not at all. Even though it does repeat. It's on
all these chip tunes repeat eventually because you got to have it infinitely looping for the person like me who stands around trying to figure out how to get past the fish.
Oh, speaking of which, like, how awesome was it that they gave Sonic animations when you let him stand there for a bit? Like, you tap his foot and look at the screen, like, check his watch.
That is just kind of the little touches I love in video games.
Yeah. And again, it's that attitude, isn't it? It's that cool factor.
Yeah.
And we take that for granted now, but that was really one of the first times, and it kind of broke the fourth wall or the whatever wall, fifth wall, one of the walls.
Yeah.
it's like Sonic is looking at me and wondering what the hell I'm doing. I better start running,
Why are you not going fast?
But I've been playing Ocarina of Time, and
Mm.
Link does the same sorts of stuff if you stand around for a while, and it's like that's all taken. And nowadays, like Mario will take a nap if he'll like fall asleep or whatever. It's like all of that is taken directly from Sonic, which was one of the first to do that.
Got a source on that? Yeah, I'm gonna fight you.
No, I'll back him on this one.
All right, 2 against 1. We are in a democracy again. So, any frustrations with this game? Anything that kind of tickles your pickle? Anger pickle, I have written here.
Tickles the anger pickle. Yeah, frustrating. Some of it is just repetition or playing it enough to get good at it. Some of those we didn't really talk about the bonus levels for the Chaos Emeralds, but
I meant to bring that up.
if you get over, what is it? You finish a level with a certain amount of coins. I think it's maybe over 50 in a level.
You get 50.
You can jump through a giant ring. And
is that what that thing was? Because I kept just running under it. I thought it was just like background stuff.
Oh my god, no! You're supposed to jump through it.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then you're in this kind of top down, almost like pinball like scenario where Sonic is just spinning as a ball, and you have to kind of navigate through without touching these red like goals that end the level, and the levels are like constantly spinning and reversing. And
I've never thought of it like a pinball game, but yeah, that's a good comparison.
You're not controlling the spin in the level at all?
Nope.
You can, because there's like these up, down, and reverse switches embedded into the walls that you can. I usually end up accidentally hitting the reverse when I don't mean to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never noticed the up and down to do anything though.
I don't know what it does, but they're there. The reverse does the most, because the reverse just reverses the spin.
Yeah.
Which I've fucked myself on that plenty of times, like accidentally hitting the reverse and like immediately falling down into the goal.
And why is it goal? Because
I don't know why.
The goal is the emerald.
Right, but do you notice how those little red things say goal on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just like, why?
Maybe it's to throw you off the scent of the emerald.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Or it's just like, I wonder if the goal thing was just like a stock kind of like sprite that Sega just had, and was like, we'll throw these in here and turn them red. And yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know. We just had one in the closet back in the other room there, so we just stuck it in.
Yeah.
It was meant for a bigger game.
There's not much better feeling in a video game than actually getting one of those emeralds in one of those levels.
Yeah, it is very satisfying.
Right, because usually like there's those little gems that change color as you are trying to break them down.
That's right, yeah.
And there's ones where they're like 4 thick, and you have to try to jump yourself back in. And there was actually that one where it's just the big square, and we were talking about a little bit, where it's like just one in the middle and then huge like 4 deep gems that you have to break through to get to the Chaos Emerald. And I actually probably took out half, like 2 corners of the covering of the emerald, to the point where I was gonna have to like jump directly through the center of the map somehow to get to the emerald. There was like nothing for Sonic to rest on.
See, and that's the problem, because the gems that you have to smash through, being that thick, the maze is constantly turning.
Right.
So you may be going to work on one side of this this gem field, and as it turns, you'll fall out of that and then find yourself on a different section that you need to work through.
Right.
So all the while dodging these goal circles that will take you completely out the level. So it can really start to get stressful the more that you think, I'm nearly there, and I've fallen off.
Right.
And it can get, especially that last one, I think, is the one we're talking about.
Right.
And yeah, I actually like them quite a lot. I think I prefer them to Sonic 2's special stages.
Yeah, they're fun.
But
They're
they
just
they can be very, very stressful.
yeah, and I
Is
had
there a point to the Chaos Emeralds in this game? Like I know Sonic 2, you go supersonic, but
yeah.
in this game, is it just a collectible or does it have some benefit for beating Robotnik?
It sort of gives you the quote unquote good ending for the game.
Oh, okay, he stopped the island.
Yeah, you basically
Yeah.
got all of the Chaos Emeralds before Dr. Robotnik could get them, and therefore he loses.
Wouldn't he
As
lose if
opposed to
you only
beating the
got
shit
one?
out of him.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, at the end of the game, if you don't get all of the Chaos Emeralds, you've just got this little Dr. Robotnik just basically dancing at you, juggling Chaos Emeralds. I'm just thinking, listen, I couldn't fucking get these things. How did you get in there and get them?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, here comes the real question. How many cute, fluffy animals do you think one Chaos Emerald's power represents? And I want only the cutest and only the fluffiest of animals.
I don't know. I think let's just pick a random number. I think
Yeah, like
every Chaos Emerald is equivalent to 50 raccoons with plugs up their asses.
There you go. Back to the raccoons again. All right, I like
There
it.
you go.
you know what was
All right.
hilarious about killing the like the badniks and releasing the animals, especially in like um the marble zone where there's pits of lava, is there would be like a poodle that jumps out and then just runs into the lava.
Yeah, maybe they're better off being in the badniks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know,
At
at
least
least
they're
until you
safe in
can
there.
save them.
Yeah.
All right. Any final points on the game itself before we get into the summary?
No, it's just a solid game. It's good. I mean, obviously Sonic 2, 3 did it better, but and I do like, I mean, Alan, you've played not Sonic or Sonic Superstars, the
Yeah.
new kind of 2D side scroller. Um they revitalized the bonus levels for the Chaos Emeralds in that game.
So they had two bonus stages in Sonic
Yeah.
Superstars. So they had the one where you have to chase the Chaos Emerald, which okay, fine.
Yeah.
But they did bring back the special stages from Sonic 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for coins and things, and it was that was a nice touch. I appreciated that. It was took me back to simpler times.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that. Surprised and happy to see that. That's a
Yeah.
good game too.
That game was hard.
It's very hard.
Have you finished the whole lot?
No.
Oh.
It's really funny how you can go through a level and end up with just an obscene amount of rings. I've got like 400 rings, but I'll be goddamned if I could beat a boss without losing all my rings.
No, I did actually manage to complete every story on that game, and it damn near killed me.
You are a legend.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we knew that already. All right, we're gonna wrap this bitch up, and then we're gonna score the game. The way I have it written down here is, Alan, we're gonna let you do a summary of your opinion. Then we'll go Sam, and then myself, and then we'll go in turn again, Alan, Sam, and me scoring the game. So, Alan, why don't you give us your final thoughts about the game, a big summarizing of it all?
Yeah, no problem. So this, as I said, is probably the most important game that I have ever played. It's responsible for my entire love of the hobby. Hooked me right from the get-go. It's just an outstanding platformer, bright, colourful. It sounds great. It looks great. It plays well. There are a few minor frustrations, but it was a great starting point for what turned out to be one of the all-time great 16-bit platforming franchises.
All right, that's kind of a very high, bar to follow there. God knows
well
I wouldn't
said.
want to do it. So, Sam, go ahead.
Can I just right click and copy paste what he said?
It was important to you. It helped you with your British childhood.
Yes. No. This was one of the first games that I owned as well. I remember, getting it for probably a birthday and bringing it home and playing it. And while Sonic 2 was maybe my preferred game once I was able to play that, I did end up going back to this quite a bit, and it's a very solid game. Obviously, some difficult parts and some parts that give me headaches every time I play it, but it's a good game. What did you, Alan? Did you give it a score out of 10?
No, we're gonna do that right after.
We're doing that after. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, those are my thoughts. It's a great game and one of my favorites.
All right. I'll wrap this up. I'm the outsider, obviously, in this threesome, and I didn't play this as a kid, so I'm kind of looking at it as an adult. So obviously, Sonic 2, Sonic 3D, and all those games have come out, and even Sonic Mania, which is I liked, but
Excellent.
I still have a hard time with Sonic games. So overall, like the graphics, the music in this game are just absolutely outstanding, especially when comparative games of their times. It is fun. I just suck at it. I understand that, me sucking doesn't take away from the enjoyment of this game. I just got to get good, as Raging Demon had said. I probably will go back and look at it again, maybe before I ever touch Sonic 2, so that I don't get tainted by something as you guys have described being a little bit better. But yeah, absolutely. Everything you guys said about this game is just kind of a wonderful tapestry of opinions there. I mean, I just kind of love the fact that this game did have a lot of importance to you guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
You said taint.
Taint, yeah. way to take it. Does that count as part of the penis? Because that would be another episode we have not made it through without bringing up a penis.
No, that's not part of the penis.
Well, I brought up penis, so we still haven't made it.
That's on you.
All right.
I think we brought up Wildcard's penis earlier.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was a little topic. All right, so let's score this out of 10. There, Alan. What would you score this game with its importance in your childhood out of 10 today?
So I've been puzzling about this for days, not even days, weeks. Logically, I think, like, if I were to take the nostalgia out of it, it's probably a 7.5, but I've got to give it a bump for just how important it was to my childhood. So I think I'm going to settle on an 8.
Okay, we got an 8 right out of the gate.
Gives me some
rhymes.
It gives me some headroom for the later games in the series.
There you go.
That's fair.
All right, Sam, how about you? We got an 8 on the board already. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, this game is important to my childhood too, but I think once I played Sonic 2, I didn't play Sonic 1 as much. So I think Sonic 2's really got it for me. I would give this probably a 7.5, but it's still up there.
That's not a decimal. All right, I get to, I guess, kind of finish this off as the outsider. I know I said that me sucking doesn't take away the enjoyment of the game, but it's going to get kind of a knockoff from me from that, because obviously I did want to finish the game, and I kind of sat down and did try to finish the game, but I wasn't improving, so I'm going to probably give it a good 7 out of 10, which for a Sega game from a Super Nintendo kid is kind of a good score.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you didn't have that nostalgia for it, so
no, that's the other thing. Is like I don't care about Sonic the way others do. I appreciate him, but I don't run out to get a Sonic game.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I know. Like that 3D one that came out recently. I watched somebody play it on Twitch there, and it completely ruined any interest I had in the game.
Oh, I don't play the 3D one. I've never played a 3D Sonic game.
Yeah, I've heard not to.
Oh, some of them are good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Frontiers. It could have been better, but it was still a good game.
Yeah, I don't know. Sonic lives in 2D for me. That's how I like them. So that's why, like when Superstars came out, I was like, oh my god, you gotta have this.
Yeah, they're smart enough to go back and give you the tasting of the 2D Sonic again, just to make you get the stink of 3D Sonic out of your mouth.
Ugh, yeah, and give me like Sonic Mania all day, like that.
That game slaps.
If they could make more like that, I think people would continue to buy it.
Probably.
Agreed.
All right, we got a tier list here to go through. Alan, you never really heard about our criteria, and we never told about you before, but we have S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. The S tier games right now are Stick of Truth and Super Mario RPG. The A tier games at the time of this recording are Turtles in Time, SimCity, Mega Man 2, and Punch-Out. And then we have some other games like Phantasy Star in the B tier, Micro Machines in the B tier, Rock and Roll Racing pretty much sets the bar for C and below. If you were to give this a tier on that kind of list using your own criteria, where would you sit it at?
Ooh, well, it ain't no Animaniacs. I know that for sure. I had to get it in there. Again, realistically, I think because it's been done better since, I'm gonna put it in B. It's a high B, maybe an A minus, but we'll go B plus plus. It's
B
an
plus plus.
excellent game, but it gets better.
All right, Sam, what do you agree with that? Are you going to bump it up, knock it down to Animaniacs?
Not all the way down to Animaniacs, that's for sure.
I'll
I
come
agree.
over there, Sam. I'll
Yeah.
come over there.
Oh, will you? Okay, well then it's an E tier wherever we put Animaniacs.
Right, that's it.
I'm waiting for you. Come on. No, no, I would put it in the B tier as well. It's a good game. I enjoy it. It's a cherished childhood classic. But yeah, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles did it better. And yeah, we'll save those for the A tier and above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to yield to your guys' opinion on this one, and I'm going to put it in the B tier as well because I don't know enough about the game or the subsequent games to actually, I guess, really have a formed opinion on this. So we will put Sonic the Hedgehog in the B tier, and that's going to wrap us up. Alan, thank you for joining us. It was very, very fun to have a conversation with you, and we'll definitely try to have you back on again.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I've had a great time. And listen, if you ever do Sonic 2, Sonic 3, just give me a call. I'll be more than happy to come back.
Be the resident Sonic guy.
I love it.
Is your phone number still the one at Buckingham Palace?
That's the one. That's the one.
I think they all routes through there, right?
Yep, definitely.
All right. Sam, do you have any final words, or are we going to wrap this up?
I don't. Alan, did you have anything you wanted to plug? I know you have a YouTube channel. You've put up some really great reads of at least the first few chapters of Dracula. Do you want to tell the people where they can find that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been fairly quiet recently. We've got a lot going on here, so I haven't been able to record as much as I'd like. But I am a budding voice actor. You can find. I don't have a sexy channel name. It's at Follow My Voice 7614. There's just a few little bits and pieces I put up there. Just to practice, basically. Just work on getting myself out there.
Right. I've listened to a few things, and I've accidentally let my wife listen to it too. And we both agree that you're doing very well with the voice acting. So I would really wish you good luck on that avenue. And if I ever find anything to help you out, I'm going to throw it your way.
Oh, thank you very much, and I appreciate that.
All right,
definitely. Next week we have Shining Force for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, and that's for when this comes out, because obviously we're recording before, we're recording after what, Final Fantasy 3 and before the episode where you're gone. So yeah, it's a good time to pick up Shining Force and start it, and I'm looking forward to it. So until next time, Sam,
keep on gaming.
That was sad.